Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I've been gone a couple of days and that is because I had the baby. Woo! So those of you guys that this is your first video that you're watching of me, I was pregnant and had a baby, and I'm making this video for all my little family subscribers that have been following me and know that I've been pregnant, and I got some comments and I know that some of you guys really want to hear. So this video is going to be like a soft-spoken whispered ASMR video, but it is going to be my birth story, which I will show you guys at the end of the video. My baby's in the rocker right here. My baby, but if you guys are not interested in hearing like birth stories and stuff like that, or if it's going to offend you in any way, I would not suggest watching this video, but I have plenty of other videos with tons of different things, and you guys can watch those if you want. But this is my third pregnancy, my third baby, and it's really funny because my oldest, my son, he's 2, was born October 15th, 2015, and then my daughter, she's 1, she was born November 15th, 2016, and then this new baby was born June 15th, 2018. So all 3 of my babies were born on the 15th. And I just think that's the coolest thing ever because it wasn't like a C-section or anything. All my kids were natural births and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's the day he was born, June 15th. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys what happened, how I went into labor and the whole birth story and all that. And if I sound a bit like off or it's hard for me to remember, it's because I'm still on like pain medication, and it just makes me like not forget, but it's just like, I don't know, kind of throws me off and makes me feel a little more weak and tired. But yeah, so on June 14th, early in the morning, I got my membrane strip from my OBGYN, which is basically where they go inside and they just push around the baby's head, like, that's pretty much it. They just go in and push around the baby's head, and then they hope that that kickstarts contractions and hopefully ends up going into labor. But it's kind of like a myth. Sometimes it works for people, sometimes it doesn't. It's just what your body wants. So, and it only is supposed to be done or supposed to help if you're already dilated and if you've already been getting Braxton Hicks contractions and stuff like that. So I was already at 4 centimeters dilated, and I was 3 days before my due date, and then yeah, so I was like a good candidate. So I went in, but I honestly didn't think anything was going to happen because I YouTubed a lot of videos and talked to a lot of people, and they said they got it done and it did absolutely nothing. It was just really painful and horrible experience. So I went in, I even told my OBGYN I was having second thoughts about this and that I was nervous because I was thinking it's gonna be so painful, but she just said it's okay, and if it's too uncomfortable, I can stop at any time. So I was just like, okay. So she did it. It was just a little bit painful. Everything was fine. I went home. When I got out of the car, it was really painful to walk. I got a really hard contraction. I don't know if it was Braxton Hicks or a real contraction, but I got a contraction and I had to pause and lean on a wall because it was that strong. So I was thinking, oh boy, like maybe this is gonna be the day that I go into labor. But then I was like, because they say like on YouTube videos and stuff, or people, they say like, oh, you get contractions for about 2 hours and then it goes away. So I was thinking, okay, I'll just wait a couple hours, but it just kept progressing and progressing. So I decided to go get my babies, because I have a 1 and 2 year old, get them up and ready and drop them off where they're gonna be, which was with family, just in case I went into labor. I wanted to have it all set where we weren't going to be rushing last second and giving birth in the car. So we dropped them off I stayed there about an hour because I was trying to see if this was the real deal or not. So I had a contraction timer on my phone and I started timing them, and they were 2 minutes to 5 minutes apart and 45 seconds to a minute and 10 seconds long. So that was all I needed to know to go ahead and go in. So I ended up going in on June 14th, like I said, and then I was told that the contractions were like not good enough. So they said that they were like slowing down a little bit. And so I was like, oh, like I was like, gosh, wasted my time going in. So then they were getting ready to send me home, but then they were checking my blood pressure and they said like, oh my gosh, I was like at 169, which anything above like 150 they say is dangerous for the baby. So, and I didn't have high blood pressure the whole pregnancy, just maybe a couple times at the end, but on June 14th, I guess it was really, really bad. So they said, you know what, we're just gonna admit you, and you're gonna have this baby within 24 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, yay. I mean, I was kind of like nervous because my blood pressure was high, and I know that's dangerous for the baby, but I was excited because I was like, this baby's coming on June 15th, just like all the other babies that were born on the 15th. So my husband and I were really excited. But as far as what happened when we got to the next room where we were admitted was pretty scary. So just a fair warning, it's a little sad, but everything is fine. So we went in there where you get admitted and stuff, and they were really concerned because my blood pressure was pretty high. So they were thinking about giving me medication for the blood pressure to go down, but they said, let's just wait and see if it goes down a little bit, and it ended up going down a little bit. So they didn't have to give me medication, but then they ended up giving me Pitocin in an IV, which I am still really bruised. I don't know if you guys can tell. I think you can. My arm is really, really bruised, and I gave birth like, I think 4 days ago now. So yeah, they missed my veins a couple times, so maybe that's why it's still really, really bruised and it's still super sore. But anyways, they gave me Pitocin in my IV, which is supposed to help not kickstart because I was already in labor, but make your contractions a lot stronger. So they gave me that way they could make it go faster, because they said, you know, we need to have this baby sooner since my blood pressure is high. So then after that, everything was going smooth. The blood pressure wasn't too high or anything like that. But then they said that his heart was starting to dip, which means it like pretty much stops, which happened with my first son, which was really scary. So I was getting nervous, like, oh my gosh. And they were saying, you know, it's bad, but let's just keep going and see, you know, they still had the Pitocin to make the contractions better, and they just kept checking me every hour to see if I was progressing, and I was progressing. I went to like a 5, then a 7, and an 8, and then so on and so on. But then when I was at between 8 and 9.5 centimeters dilated, the doctor, because you always get the nurses first, so the doctor came in and she told me that we were gonna have to do an emergency C-section because his heart was dipping way too much, and they didn't think that his heart was gonna be strong enough for me to deliver vaginally, naturally. So they told me that, and I was just crying. Oh, and mind you, before all this, when they admitted me and gave me Pitocin, they came in later that night, so I got like admitted into the room like around 8 p.m. So this was all during like the nighttime. So around 3 a.m. they gave me this oxygen mask, and I had to wear it from that time, like 3 a.m. to I gave birth pretty much. And it's just, I don't know why, but it makes me feel like, I don't know, it makes me feel like I can't breathe, even though it's supposed to help you breathe. I felt like I couldn't breathe with it, which I know it's weird, but I just didn't like it. It's very uncomfortable for me. So they gave me that, and then they told me I was going to have to do an emergency C-section, which they said that with my first son, but I ended up not having to. So I was crying, so it was making my blood pressure go up even higher, and they told me I just need to relax and get it together because crying is, you know, not gonna be helping the situation at all. I was just really sad, like, because I was able to give birth naturally for my last two, and it was a really, like, spiritual thing because my babies are everything to me. So I just wanted to be, you know, present and awake and everything for the birth. So that's why I was like crying and stuff, you know, but I got it together. And then I was like, okay, I get it, I understand. And then the doctor left and was gonna go ahead and get everything ready to do a C-section. But then she came back in and said I was at a 9.5 and that she's gonna wait a couple minutes and she thinks that she's gonna have me try to push. So I was like, oh my gosh, yes, let's do that. Be way better for me. So we ended up doing that, and then I started to push, and when they gave me, I got epidural. They gave me epidural, but on this half of my body, it didn't numb anything. I could still feel the contractions and the pain. So when I gave birth, I felt all the pain on one half of my body and nothing on the other half. So it was pretty painful, but thankfully, since this half was numb, it wasn't like unbearable, but it was pretty painful compared to my other births. So, but I gave birth, but when the baby's head was coming out, my husband looked like he was freaking out. He was acting different, acting scared, looking down, looking at the doctor, looking at me, and then he rubbed my leg and was just like smiling, and I could tell something was off because he was trying to like comfort me in the middle of me pushing. And the doctor looked at him and said, why don't you take a seat? And then he's like looking, and he's like, no, I can handle it. And so he just stood there, and I was like, what the heck, what's going on? And then they just said, go ahead and push again. So the baby came out, but there was no cry, which with the other babies, they cried right away. And my husband was like hyperventilating and looking at the doctor and getting like antsy. And the doctor had the baby like underneath too low, so I couldn't see the baby. And I was just like, what's going on? Nobody was saying anything. And I just kept seeing the doctor move her arms like this. This is all I saw. So after like a minute or so of seeing her do this, I heard the baby cry, but I heard him choke a little bit. And then the baby was handed to me and put on me, and everything was good. I didn't tear at all. The baby was healthy and everything. And then like an hour or so later after I gave birth, my husband told me, because I was asking him, hey, what was going on when I was giving birth? Why wasn't the baby crying, and why were you making that face and all that? And he said, well, the baby had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck 3 times, and then around his body and around his ankle. So that's why he wasn't crying, and that's why his heart was dipping so much at the very end of me, you know, being in labor and stuff. So that was very scary for my husband, a lot scarier for him than me, because obviously I'm the one pushing him out. I didn't know, I didn't see. Good thing he didn't say anything, because it would have probably freaked me out even more. But yeah, so it was wrapped around, but the doctor got it off, and he said that the choking that I heard was actually blood coming out of his nose and mouth from all that being wrapped and everything. So it was really scary for my husband, but thankfully nothing happened. He's perfectly healthy, he's fine, everything is good. We went home within 24 hours. So we went home, we gave birth at 10:13 a.m. on June 15th, and we went home on June 16th around like 12 p.m. So like 2 hours after the 24-hour mark. And we've been home, and everything's been really great. He's such an easy, mellow baby. It's super great. I'm breastfeeding exclusively. It's going really well. I have to wake him up in the middle of the night to feed him. So with my other babies, they would be screaming and stuff like that. But this baby is like really mellow. But yeah, I'm just so thankful that everything went well, and I appreciate all you guys that were messaging me on Snapchat or commenting on YouTube and asking if I had the baby. So yes, I did. And I'm just adjusting to 3 babies that are 2 years and younger. So I have a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a newborn. So I wanted to put out this video just to let everybody know. I probably am taking off the rest of the week, and I'll be back on Monday, and I'll be making the 600 thank you video because we reached 600 subscribers on Father's Day. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna do a whole dedicated video to that, and then I'll be making some more videos after that. But it's today is Tuesday, really late at night, so you guys will see this on Wednesday, tomorrow. And then I'm just gonna take off the rest of the week. That way I can give myself some more time to heal and stuff, because even though I didn't tear or have a C-section, I'm just in a lot of pain still, and I got epidural. This is my 3rd epidural, so my back and hips are like in a lot of pain. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the baby. He didn't wake up at all. He's really mellow, really easy. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the baby before I let you guys go. He's snoring. Let me get it to focus. So here's the baby, and he was 6 pounds and 4 ounces, and he was 19.5 inches long, and his name is Eric, and it's spelled E-R-I-K. But yeah, so there's the little baby Eric. Okay guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for understanding why I've been gone a couple of days and respecting that I'll be taking off the rest of the week, like a little maternity leave. But I'll be back on Monday with some good videos for you guys. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Bye guys, love you so much.